SoonlyWeds. We are back with episode 4 in our vendor Q&A series, and today we are talking caterers. Let's go ahead and dive in. Are you licensed? And this is a really good question to know because this means that your specific caterer has met your local health department standards, so that you know as well as far as cleanliness and like health, they're more than up to date. But also be sure to ask if they have a liquor license as well if you guys are considering serving alcohol. Do you have liquor liability insurance? This is important to know if you guys are, again, planning on serving liquor. So anyone who does serve liquor needs to have this type of insurance, including your caterer, because basically if your guests they're drinking at your bar and then they leave the event and they hurt themselves or someone else, you could then be potentially held responsible. So knowing that your caterer or your bartender has liquor liability insurance is extremely helpful because this kind of negates your involvement in it and it leaves them liable, God forbid something does happen. Are you working any other events, weddings or events on the same weekend or day? This is important to know because sometimes your caterers will try to like stack 2 or more like events or weddings onto the same day or weekend, and this doesn't have to be a deal breaker as we discussed before, as long as they are a larger catering team. But if it is a smaller company, then you definitely want to make sure that they're staffed enough. Do you specialize in certain types of foods, whether that be like a farm to table, gluten-free, ethnic, whatever that may be? Ask them. This is important to know for couples who really have a particular like flavor or dish in mind that they really want their guests to dine on at their wedding. This kind of lets you know how much you have the ability to customize the menu, as well as giving you the confidence that your chef actually knows how to prepare the food, meaning that it's just going to taste better, and it just really helps you set the tone. Are you a full service caterer? So this is important to know because full service in terms of caterers means that in addition to them actually cooking and preparing the food, they'll also handle everything else associated with food. So that means your table settings, your bar cleanup, bar service, all that sorts of things. And this, what it actually means, can vary from caterer to caterer, which is one of the reasons that it actually made it onto this list. It's so crucial that you ask whether or not your caterer is full service, and then once, if and when they say yes, then you definitely want to go ahead and ask what does that mean, so that you can know what exactly is included and what to expect from them, and that way no one is misinformed and kind of expecting the wrong thing come event day. Are you able to prepare a vegetarian, gluten-free, vegan, kosher, halal, whatever it may be, specialty dietary requirement type of meals? Why do you want to know, guys? So this is important to know because just because your caterer may be willing to work with like special dietary restrictions, but it can oftentimes be an additional cost because this requires planning on their behalf. This requires cooking with special ingredients, sometimes longer cook and prep times. So your chefs may offer this, but just go ahead and ask to confirm that all is on the up and up, and that way you can make the decision that you need to if you really do have a lot of guests or you yourselves require something that has a specialty dietary requirement. How do you handle vendor meals and children's meals? This is an important question to ask because oftentimes couples and caterers will like to not feed the vendors the same foods that they feed their guests just because they're typically at a lower price point. And the same goes with kids really. Since they don't really eat a full meal, you can typically like slice them down to like chicken fingers and french fries or pizza, mac and cheese, just typical like American kid meal types of foods. And not to say that vendor meals are on that same level, but just a pared down experience from what your guests are eating. Maybe you don't want to feed your photographer filet mignon and instead they just offer them like a spaghetti or something like that. Nothing super like downgraded, but just not exactly what you're feeding your guests. So ask your caterer how they handle that and if they offer special menu options so that you can be advised as to what you're doing for the vendors you do choose to give vendor meals and for the kids if you do choose to have them in attendance. But in saying that, bear in mind that you guys also can feed them the same exact things that you and your guests are eating. That's totally your choice, but oftentimes when couples are trying to save a few dollars, every dollar counts, and feeding people that you don't really necessarily want to feed but kind of have to, they usually get fed a little bit of a lesser thing if it's time to cut budgets. Will you provide tables, chairs, plates, napkins, the works, salt and pepper shakers? This is important to know because not all caterers do this. I feel like it's very assumed that they do, but that's not at all the case. It really is specific on your individual caterer. So if your caterer does not offer these things and you do have to go elsewhere to find them, whether that be a rental company, whether you try to locate these items yourselves and just DIY it, no matter what, this is important to know because those expenses, they will add up. So if this is something that your caterer comes with and you guys are in a bit of a tighter budget, this could be exactly what you're looking for to help you save an extra few dollars. If they do have them on hand, guys, don't be afraid to ask to see them, to make sure that you like them, that they go with your style, and that they're just meshful with what you have in mind. You don't want to just say yes to something because they have it available and then you actually not like it, and on the day of you be like, wow, you know, everything was beautiful except for that cake cutting knife. Like, just because they have it does not mean that you have to use them. It's just helpful to know, and it opens up your options if that's something that you're okay doing. But still, investigate a little further, ask yourself what it looks like and if you like it, and then go from there. Do you provide wait staff, and how many are included in our package? This is important to know, as well as what is the price for wait staff that are not included in your package. Typically, caterers will come with their own personnel or like staff that will help them on the event day, help, you know, pass the hors d'oeuvres, make sure that the dinners go out appropriately, all that good stuff. And those staff will know the ins and outs of an event so that everything can run fluidly. But not all caterers do offer this, and not all caterers include this in that base catering price. And if that is your type of caterer, then you do need to ask to find out whether or not it is included in your package, and if it is not, how much it's going to be to then have that staff on site in addition to having your chefs cook. How do delivery, setup, and breakdown work, and are they at additional fees? Again, this is a great question to follow up the staff question, because some caterers do have staff that will help you with setting up your rentals, your tables, your chairs, linens, all that sorts of stuff. Not all of them will, but this can definitely be included in that staff price. They definitely can be a lifesaver in terms of striking at the end of the night without you having to have you and your new spouse, your parents, your friends, whoever stay after the wedding to help you guys pack everything up and make sure everything is out on the right time. This can be an amazing resource to make sure that all that stuff gets done on time without having to like actually do it yourself. But of course, it does usually come at an additional price, so just ask your caterer so that you can be informed of if that's a possibility for you, and if so, how much that would actually cost you guys. Will you provide alcohol, or do I need to handle the bar on my own? This is super helpful because some caterers, as we discussed, do come with their own liquor license. And if they do come with their own liquor license, then they are able to supply liquor for you. Most caterers are able to provide like beers, liquors, spirits, stuff like that at a reduced rate. But doing it yourself and building your own bar can save you a ton of money if you do it correctly. Check with your caterer, see what the options are, and even if they do say that they do provide liquor themselves, ask them if you stocking your own bar is an option, because then as long as the bottles are unopened, you guys could always return them back to Costco, liquor store, wherever you got them from, and get the cash back for the liquor that was unused. So definitely ask so that you could know the decisions that you guys can make and kind of take back some of that like negotiating power. Now, know that if you do want to stock your own bar, you do again need to ask your caterer, because they might charge what's known as a corkage fee, which basically means that they are just going to charge you to pop all the bottles and pour them into glasses, since you didn't buy the liquor directly from them. And again, if that is what the deal is with your specific caterer, just go ahead and ask so that you can mentally factor in that corkage fee and add it into your expenses. That way you guys aren't hit with any like unexpected charges at the end. How many bartenders are included in our package? You should really have 4 waiters for every guest and 1 bartender for every 50 guests. Depending on how many staff members your caterer comes with can really affect the flow and the speediness of your event, how long the line is at the bar, stuff like that. So just go ahead and ask so that you can make informed decisions, and if you need to up the amount that comes with them, go ahead and ask how much it is to have additional bartenders, staff, stuff like that on hand. How do you guys display food on the buffet or on plate? This is kind of a simple question, but for some people it's a very big deal if you're like very big on aesthetics, because presentation truly is everything. Seeing the way that your caterer is going to serve your food on the day of can be a really big deal for a lot of couples, and whether that means how they're going to arrange the food on the buffet, whether they're going to make beautiful charcuterie boards, or whether they're going to deliver plates of family style meals. If you would like to know what is going to be served and what it's going to look like, ask to see a few photos so that you guys can get a better idea of what their plating experience is like. What is the server to guest ratio? Basically, this is asking about the amount of service your caterer is going to provide versus the amount of guests that you're going to have at your event. And this is important to know because, again, it really does determine the flow and timeline of the way that your day moves. Basically lets you know how many people will be catering to your guests at any given time based on the specific amount of guests that you have. Can we customize our menu, and can we do a food tasting beforehand? Food tastings are always super fun, and in my opinion they're a great way to like get a sense of the type of caterer that you are thinking about going with, get a taste of their food, and really it allows the couple a little bit more options and room to really bring their personalities through in terms of what they like to eat and their favorite things and stuff like that. And it's always just a really fun process when caterers allow food tastings, just so that you can get an actual literal taste of what you'll be sampling on the day of, get a sense of their vibe, their cooking, all that good stuff, to really get you in the right state of mind and like taste for what you're expecting. So that is really it for today, guys. I hope this video was beneficial to you and that you guys are leaving with a better sense of questions to ask your potential caterers. As always, if you guys have any other questions about any part of the planning process, leave it in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to help you guys, and I will be getting back to you about them. Okay guys, and I am also still developing my 12-month wedding planning course, so if you have any questions about any part of the planning process, drop them down below in the comments. I'll be more than happy to get back to you guys, and maybe I'll even potentially make a video about it. So leave it down below and you never know. Again guys, the purpose of the course is specifically to help all of you guys who can't physically hire me to be your wedding coordinator, day of planner, whatever it may be. And I take you guys through a 12-month planning guideline where you literally feel like one of my planning clients. We go through every step of the planning process. There's workbooks and strategies and timelines and all that stuff. So it's just chock full of information, and I'm so excited to release it because I know it's going to be so helpful to so many people. So if you would like to see anything specific in there and you have any sorts of feedback that you would like to give me, drop it below so that I can add it in, because I want it to be so helpful to you guys. So anything that you have, please give it to me so that I can add it in. But other than that, that is it for today guys, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.